Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today's topic du jour is Donald Trump. Donald Trump just went on to CNN and did a town hall the other day. I did not watch the entire thing because I don't enjoy watching Donald Trump. I don't dislike him. I don't love him. I don't hate him. He's just, another cocky dude who has way too much money and more power than his ego can handle. At any rate, I saw this thing happen, and I'd be curious to know how many of you watched it, how many of you saw it. I see Michelle W says Trump did great. All right, and I see you, Yashika and El Haj. Yashika says, "Good afternoon, Dr. Boyce. Good afternoon to you too." Also, can y'all let me know if you can hear me? I'm doing audio today because I'm kind of moving around, but I wanted to talk to y'all real quick. So let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. All right. Michelle says, "I like him because he's not a polished politician like the rest of them." Okay, fair enough. I'm totally hearing that, and and every point of view is respected here. But do me a quick favor. You can hear me okay? You said I sound distant? Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk loud. If I talk loud, am I coming through loud and clear? Does that sound good? I don't know why it sounds distant. I apologize for that. What's up, Vic FM? How you doing, man? All right. So yeah. So how many of you saw Trump? Did you see Trump in the thing? I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a few minutes of it because I just happened to be somewhere where people were watching it, so I watched some of it too. And he was, the typical Donald Trump. And I will say that my first surprise or my first thought was, huh, CNN is hosting a sound, they're hosting a town hall with Donald Trump. Why would they host a town hall with Donald Trump? I didn't understand that. Not to say that I don't think he deserves a platform. I mean, you got a lot of people that have platforms that don't deserve one. I don't. I was one of those people that wondered why Dr. Fauci has such a big platform. I'm sorry. I don't think that man was exactly the person that should have been, running our or controlling our health during a crisis. Um, at any rate, you know, I was really surprised that CNN did a Donald Trump town hall. Um, I'm going to start off by saying this. I'm going to talk about what the reaction has been, and then I'm going to talk about what my personal thoughts are. The reaction's been pretty negative in terms of the CNN staffers. The CNN staffers, their reaction was, how can you do this? How can you give him a platform? Why in the world would you host this town hall? This is unbelievable, right? That's been their reaction. Their reaction is one in which they're just kind of taken aback, shocked, upset. They're one insider was saying she's not loyal to her employer anymore because how dare you? How could you? How could you? Um, now that I've given you the kind of their reaction, I'll give you my personal reaction. Because the rest of the country, you know how it's going to run across party lines, right? Democrats hate it, Republicans love it, CNN staffers hate it. But when they hate it, when they say that they hate it, I think what they're revealing is their bias. And when I was I was on the faculty at Syracuse University. They had one of the best media schools in the country, and so I knew a lot of journalism students. And I maybe I'm just naive about this, but I really thought that the goal of a journalist was to be objective. Give me a yes or no if you thought that. If you thought that journalists are supposed to report facts, not be caught up in their political opinions. If you are a liberal, a diehard liberal, or a diehard conservative, you keep that shit at home. You're supposed to do your job. You're supposed to let the American public hear all the ideas. I never knew. I don't understand this world where a journalist, somebody who claims to call themselves a journalist, can say, "Well, you don't deserve the right to speak because you're a bully. You're a fascist. You're a sexist. You're a homophobe." I don't know that world, right? That does not make sense to me. And so when CNN staffers are whining about doing the Trump town hall, because that's what they do. Like they just whine, especially white women. White women are masters of whining. They should be like they should be running the whole wine industry because they love to wine and dine the American public. Yeah, you don't have a right to talk. Yeah, then why are you talking? Yeah, you don't deserve a platform. Yeah, right. And what happens is they start whining, and they feel like in the course of their whining, because they're armed with white women's tears, they then start using their white women tears as a weapon. They weaponize the whining. It's weaponized whining. It's the WWF, weaponized, where they will literally break. They think that because they're crying and because they're sad, they get to break all the rules. So honestly, I don't understand how any journalist worth their weight in dog poopy could. I said dog poopy because I'm trying not to cuss. See, that's what happens when you try not to cuss. You sound stupid. I said dog poopy. I don't even talk like. I don't think I've ever said the word poopy. But anyway, any journalist worth their weight in dog crap shouldn't be commenting on this in a biased way. They shouldn't be saying like, "Oh well, he's a bully. He's this. He's that." Your opinion ain't supposed to be part of the equation. The American people don't want your opinion. They want facts. And that's why CNN lost its credibility in the first place. CNN lost its credit. Remember back in the day, like 20 years ago, when CNN used to use that slogan, the most trusted name in news? How many of y'all remember that? Give me a yes if you remember when CNN used to say, CNN, the most trusted name in news. Or when it happens, CNN is there. Anybody remember those? Like, and I used to watch those commercials. They'd be like, the most trusted name in news. So I was like, I believe that. I really did. I thought they really were the most trusted name in news at that time, and they were. CNN had glory days, y'all. Seriously, I remember in '06, '05 when I was on the faculty at Syracuse, when I got my first invitations to appear on CNN. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I'd made it. I said, man, I'm appearing on the most trusted name in news, and I was very happy to go on CNN. And then all of a sudden everything just kind of shifted. And I'm gonna tell you what, to be honest with you, I blame the right. I blame Fox News. I blame our government for the way they deregulated media and they stopped forcing media outlets to actually tell the truth. And Fox News started rising up, being the demagogues that they are. All they do is they make billions of dollars scaring the shit out of white people. That's what, see, I broke my rule of cussing. That's all Fox News does. They make their money by scaring the hell out of old white people, and manipulating them and lying. And so CNN and kind of got caught in the crossfire. So because CNN got caught in the crossfire, and then they saw MSNBC kind of rising up too because they became the rival to Fox, CNN started jumping into the fray, and that really bothered me because CNN's not supposed to do that. CNN is supposed to let you hear all the facts. CNN's supposed to give you an unbiased opinion. CNN ain't doing that. Anderson Cooper used to do that. I don't think he's doing that as much, but even Anderson's kind of holding down CNN credibility. Don Lemon show as hell wasn't. Don Lemon's, little ass. I don't know where the hell he gonna be at, but Don Lemon was never, unbiased. He was never really a true journalist. He was a commentator, and it's okay to be a commentator. It's okay to be a commentator. I mean, Don Lemon, and Rachel Maddow. I mean, they are the liberal versions of Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham. Fine, whatever. But the problem that you have when you allow this gang warfare to take place between Democrats and Republicans, and you allow it to corrupt your American institutions, is you create an environment where nobody trusts anybody. Nobody trusts CNN. Nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts corporations. Nobody trusts any of the American institutions. And so you're creating a destabilized society. You do know that the ability to trust institutions is fundamental to a well functioning society. In fact, let me give you an example. How many of you feel like you trust the government less after the pandemic? Give me a yes if you are a person who trusts the government less than you did before 2020. How many of you trust the government less than you did before 2020? I'm gonna tell you, I completely trust the government less than I did before 2020 because I knew they was on some old BS. When you're up here telling me that some Harvard doctor is now a quack and a spreader of misinformation because he's disagreeing with you, I'm gonna give you all kinds of side eyes. I'm gonna give you so many side eyes you're gonna think I'm cross-eyed. I'm gonna give you every side eye I can get because there's. How are you gonna tell me that this guy? You look at these resumes of some of the dissenters. They were like, it would say Stanford undergrad, Yale medical school, right? Residency, Harvard, and then you're like, oh well, he's just spreading misinformation. He's a Russian bot. He's just out here lying. We took away his Twitter account. because y'all got the feds all up in Twitter. You know, and I'm serious. Elon Musk is pulling the whole lid off of all of that. The feds was all up in Twitter. In case y'all don't know, did any of y'all follow those stories? The feds were all up in the Twitter account. That's why Twitter had that bloated payroll. How in the hell? I need y'all seriously. How in the hell is it that Elon Musk could buy Twitter and fire 80% of the employees and Twitter still works? See, I'm starting to sound ghetto now. Twitter still be working. Okay, Twitter's still working just fine. Twitter is fully functional, and you fired 80% of the staff. Well, part of it was because it was bloated. Because you got to pay a whole lot of people if you're trying to censor the entire American public. And that's what they were doing. They were on some old oppressive fascist nonsense. So, so I'm going to say this about this Trump town hall. And I'm saying this as a guy who never liked Donald Trump. The one thing I can say about my opinion on Trump is I've been consistent. I'm not like some of these rappers and bootleg pastors and fake rights activists who want to suddenly act brand new now that when Trump became president. Like, Al Sharpton was taking all kinds of pictures with Trump 12 years ago, begging for his money, hanging out with him and the other mobsters. Now he up here talking about he hates Donald Trump. You didn't hate him 12 years ago when you were taking pictures with him. You could go back. Rappers, Diddy, guys like Diddy used to hang out with Donald Trump. They used to love hanging out with Donald Trump, and then suddenly they don't like him because he's a Republican and not a Democrat. I've always thought Donald Trump was a bombastic, arrogant, racist prick. At the same time, I can look past the fact that I think he's a bombastic, arrogant, racist prick, and I can also say he must be a decent enough businessman if he was able to get a jumbo jet with his name on it and keep that in his name for 40 years. I want to understand how his family built that legacy of wealth and power that allows them to go around the world and do the things that they do. I want black folks to understand the secrets to that. So when it comes to Trump, my opinion of him is very complex. I do not want him to be president. I do not think he's a good president. He's probably cost the American people billions of dollars every year just from all that security and all that his kids are robbing the piggy bank. That they're using their connections and I'm sure very corrupt ways to build wealth for their family. Right? That's what they're doing. So that's why Trump is not a good president. Obama, in my view, was a better president than Trump because at least Obama is smart and thoughtful and careful or whatever. The problem, though, is that Obama is a little bit of a slave. Obama's a slave because Obama can't really do what Obama really wants to do because Obama didn't really come into that office with power. Somebody propped him up. Somebody had to prop him up. So my point is to say that, and I see Damani says, please stop pandering to the Democrats. I like that comment because I hear people that say the same thing when they think I'm pandering to the Republicans. So if I hear people saying, "Oh, you sound like a Democrat," or "Oh, you sound like a Republican," that means I'm doing my job because I'm neither one. Y'all know my position. Y'all do understand who I vote for in every election, right? Do y'all understand who I vote for in every election? Here's where I am politically, right there on the screen. I vote for black people in every election. I'm voting for the black guy who's really helping the black community, which means I don't vote for any of these sons of bitches. I don't. And it's my right to do that. There's nothing wrong with that policy. There's nothing wrong with that strategy. That is a viable, well accepted strategy within political science to abstain. I am holding my vote until somebody gives me a reason to vote. You give me my reparations, you write a check big enough, and black people like me will vote for you. So that's where I stand. And it happens all the time. Because you're trapped in the matrix, because you're trapped into this nonsense of Democrat or Republican, McDonald's versus Burger King, Coke versus Pepsi. Just because you don't drink a Coke don't mean you got to drink a Pepsi. Just because you didn't go to McDonald's does not mean that you automatically going to have to go to Burger King. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? You need to think outside the bun. Think outside the bun. Because some of you are stuck. Some of you are looking at this as two options. And that the reality is that it should never have been that way. And it's not that way. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and by the way, I'm going to be in Dallas next week, May 19th, excuse me, for a 2-day Black Wealth training camp. So if you live near Dallas or you want to fly in or whatever the case may be, feel free to come by, hang out with us. We're going to be there for 2 days, working hard, making plans, setting up strategies, and learning about generational wealth and connecting with each other. So if you'd like to join us for a Black Wealth training camp, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. Also at boycewatkins.com, you can take a look if you'd like. I have a new book called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Feel free to go take a look at that as well. So let's get back to the issue at hand here. Okay, so let me just summarize and say this. I think CNN made a great move by having this Donald Trump town hall. I'm going to say that I think CNN has a new CEO, Chris Lighty, likes Licht. I like what he's trying to do. What Chris Licht is trying to do is he's trying to make sure that this network is not hijacked by whining liberals, and and neither, but it shouldn't even be hijacked by conservatives either. CNN has a beautiful, brilliant legacy that was significantly undermined when they started choosing a side in the gang wars between Democrats and Republicans. I like the town hall because there are millions of people who want to hear from Donald Trump. There are millions of people who deserve to hear from Donald Trump. The people that don't want to hear from Donald Trump can change the channel. And I think that's okay, right? So the same liberties, the same respect that you give to other candidates, why not give it to him? Why can't I, and I want y'all to understand this as black people, you are the biggest political slaves on this planet. Black people, you are the biggest political slaves. They own you like a pack of hoes. Really, they own all of us like we a pack of prostitutes. And why do I say that? Well, because you're playing a game of high level economics and you ain't got no money. If you're in a gunfight and you don't have a gun, then you're going to have to basically be the slave of the person who's got a big enough gun to defend you. So right now you're in the middle of an economic battle between the Democrats and Republicans. It's a multi-billion-dollar battle that is fought with money. Black media outlets in particular, and some black businesses that are connected to the politicians, they don't have any money. So you know what happens? Every damn black urban radio station on this planet gets bought like a field slave. I want to say fucking field slave, but I'm not going to say it anymore because I don't want to cuss today. They get bought like a damn field slave because somebody from the Democratic Party comes up, shows up, and says, we own you, right? We own you, right? So what they do is they put a whole bunch of money in their pocket, and then they say, you better tell all the black people they better go get the jab. If anybody talks about not getting that jab, give me a yes if you know what I'm talking about. Give me I'm serious. I'm calling out these media outlets. They will tell these Negroes, if you don't tell every black person listening on W106 The Vibe, if you don't tell every black person listening to get the jab, we gonna cut your funding and we gonna cut your lights off because you are our economic bitch. That's what you are. And don't you dare get uppity and act like you have a right to your own opinions. Don't you dare act like you have the right to any sort of sovereign leadership. Don't you dare act like you have a right to free expression because in America, people don't have rights unless they got money. That's the way this country works. So your urban radio stations get bought out in every election to the point where I had a rapper that came to me one time and he was an intelligent rapper and he literally said that the grip is so tight on these urban media outlets that he said he was told before an interview by the black person that ran the station that you cannot even talk about Bernie Sanders during the election. It was Hillary Clinton was running, and remember, Bernie Sanders got a little momentum. It was so unlocked. Forget talking about a Republican. Forget talking about being independent. They said you better not even say the name of Bernie Sanders, or we will cut you off the air. Do y'all understand? Do you understand how much of an egregious violation of his rights to free speech and expression that is? The black churches. Thank you, chosen girl, for bringing that up. The churches. These raggedy ass pastors. I'm not talking about all of them. If you are a pastor and you ain't raggedy, I'm not talking about you. But if you are a pastor, you probably know some raggedy pastors. Just look at them. That's who I'm talking about. These raggedy pastors who will take money from anybody and then go in there and politicize the church are some low life, dirty SOBs as far as I'm concerned. We here to talk about God. We want to talk about the Bible. We don't want to hear that you voted for Hillary Clinton or that you voted for Donald Trump or that you voted for Barack Obama. We ain't supposed to hear all that. In church, I don't know if anybody else, maybe I sound crazy by laying these ideas out, but I'm gonna say it. So at least we can have for the record that somebody said this. I just need it on the record that this is what Dr. Boyce was saying in 2023. I don't want to go to church and hear your politics. I'm friends with Jamal Bryant. He's a very nice man. But I don't want to hear you giving a political rally at the church. Tell me about God. Tell me about the Bible. Tell me about your faith. That's what you're. I don't want you to try to explain to me why am supposed to read one thing in the Bible, but then I'm supposed to walk out the building and think that abortion is okay. I can't bring those two things together. So how about you just leave that between me and God? How about you not even give me your opinion on pro-choice versus pro-life or Roe versus Wade and let me go and figure that out on my own? I'm not saying people have to have a certain opinion. All I'm advocating for, and I hope that you can understand this when I tell you, like, look, I know some people get offended when I talk like this. I'm not trying to offend you because I'm not trying to enslave you. I'm not trying to offend you because I'm not trying to tell you what to do. The only thing, if I'm trying to tell you to do something, all I'm trying to tell you to do is do what your ancestors want you to do, which is to be free. That's it. Do you understand? Is that okay? Is it okay if I simply say, I want you to be free? I want you to make the decisions that work for you. I want you to look out for all the people that are looking to exploit you. There are some people out here that are serving black people, and then there are some people out here that are selling black people. Many of your pastors are selling black people just like the plantation owner did in 1802. They are selling you to the politicians, they're selling you to the corporations, they're selling you to whoever the highest bidder happens to be. They're selling you to the pharmaceutical companies, all those damn Merck commercials. I just really want, anybody heard how stupidly insulting those commercials are? Girl, we gotta, as a community, be thinking about our generational wealth and our legacy. That's why I went and got the double jabs. I get my boosters every month because I gotta make sure I'm safe for my family and that our legacy remains alive. Anybody seen those stupid commercials on the radio that make you literally want to like never listen to the radio again? That's the type of crap that they're doing, and they're doing it deliberately. They're doing this like coded speech to basically say if black people are dumb enough to keep on following this protocol that we give them, then let's go ahead and just milk them till the udders run dry. But ain't nobody sitting here asking questions out loud, like shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I think Tariq was asking whether or not Jamie Foxx was jabbed up or not. I'm not saying that's the case or not, but I am saying to you that I do know people, young men, who have had some interesting health consequences that have occurred since 2020 that make you wonder if some of that research is worthy of investigation that is linking those shots to significant side effects. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to shame you based on what decision you make, but I am here to tell you that I happen to have a sister who is a highly trained medical doctor. And when I said, "Hey, what do you think about getting that shot?" My sister said, "Oh, hell no." She said, you ain't putting that in my body." So I'm not saying that you should have the same opinion as me one way or the other. I'm simply saying that perhaps there's merit to all the high level medical professionals who have come out and said, don't do it. Does that do they not deserve to have an opinion? Is that should that be censored? And the crime that CNN has committed, which I think was slightly, modestly, microscopically, partially exonerated slightly by the Donald Trump town hall, is the crime that they committed was they got involved in the censorship game. And I don't think CNN's supposed to do that. I want the free information game. I want you to tell me the pros and the cons. Let's use the jab as an example. All I need you to do is give me the pros and the cons. Bring on an expert who thinks I should do it. Bring on an expert who thinks I shouldn't. As an intelligent black person, I'm going to sit and listen to both of them because I don't want to make the wrong decision. I don't want to run out here and be stupid and catch a virus that might kill me. But I also don't want to run out here and be stupid and go get a jab in my ass just because some man named Dr. Fauci told me to do it and won't let me hear from anybody else. Anybody who restricts your right to information is not your friend. That person is typically your pimp. They're either your parent or your pimp, or both, because pimps can often take a parental role. They call it paternalism. So white folks, for you black people, these politicized white folks, particularly the Democrats, have become your parental pimps. They see themselves in a paternal role over you. Follow me now. Follow me now. They see themselves in a paternalistic capacity over you, and in that capacity, they believe that they have to take control because you're not smart enough to make your own decision. So similar to the way a parent claims to protect their child by restricting their child's access to certain information or certain influences, They do the same thing with black people. The difference, though, is that I'm not convinced that white folks love me like that. I'm definitely not convinced that they love me more than they love their money. I'm not convinced that they love me more than they love their power. I'm not convinced that they love me more than their politics. So when a Democrat claims to be my parental pimp and tries to claim that for your own protection, I'm going to restrict your access to information because I want to do what's best for you, my response is to simply give them the middle finger and to say, no, I run what happens in my life. I run what happens in my family. We run what happens in our community. We don't need your input. Just give us the information and let us make our own decision. Give me a yes if it's okay, if we can walk away and agree on that. I know you may not agree with everything I said. Some people hear me and they get offended. And I totally get it. I can't help it. I don't have a filter. I got in trouble in school for running my mouth like this, and I can't stop it. My mother used to say, your mouth will either make you great or get you killed. That's what she said when I was 9. So you know it's much worse when I was 49, 50, and 51 years old. So that's just what it is. So that's what I believe. I just really want you to be smart. I'm really here to share what I'm seeing. Just circling back on the Donald Trump CNN town hall meeting, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the CNN insiders who are upset about allowing people to hear both perspectives, those are individuals who probably should not be working for a major news outlet because you are not unbiased journalists. You're not qualified as journalists. The traditional role of a journalist is to let the American public get access to the information and the viewpoint so they can make their own decision. And I stick with that. Remember, back in the day, think about this. Back in the day, 60 years ago, you had racist white men who were journalists in the 1950s and 60s who would bring on a loudmouth black man that they couldn't stand by the name of Malcolm X. And they would let Malcolm express his point of view. They would let Muhammad Ali express his point of view, even though they didn't agree with Muhammad Ali. They didn't like him. If they could have killed him, they would. But they let him come on and share and speak his piece. Even those journalists in the 1950s, as racist as some of them might have been, even they were better than the journalists we have right now. I just want the information. I just want the facts. I just want to hear the points of view. Let me make my own decision. That's what I'm simply saying. And so I like the direction CNN's going. I think they made themselves a better network by doing this. Hopefully, it will help their ratings. CNN's ratings are just garbage. They're in the toilet. That's why they're so mad at Fox News because, Fox has so many more viewers because they're reflecting. Fox is simply scooping up all of the people that CNN and MSNBC have alienated. That's what it is. People are alienated by the propaganda. So what's unfortunate though with Fox though is that they've just given them a different version of propaganda. So it's not like Fox is presenting these high quality journalists that are giving these brilliant alternative perspectives. They're just simply leaning into the distrust people have naturally and correctly formed against many of the leading American institutions. So that's what I'm seeing. That's my belief, and that's what it is. And as usual, a lot of it boils down to money. All this boils down to CNN probably did this town hall because somebody said if you don't get your ratings up, you're gonna have to fire everybody because you can't run a media outlet without bringing in revenue. So I think that this was also a financial move on the part of CNN. Maybe they weren't trying to do the right thing in terms of freedom of expression. I don't know. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. My website is boycewatkins.com. As you guys know, we believe in educating your kids on economics at an early age. That's the big power play. If you have children, or if you know children, or if you have grandchildren, or nieces and nephews, get them started early. It's very important. We have financial flashcards for children. Feel free to go take a look. You can go to financialflashcards.com. It'll make a difference for your child for the rest of their life. Feel free to grab it as a birthday gift, Christmas gift, or whatever you want to do. And then, second of all, I'm going to be in Dallas May 19th for a 2-day Black Wealth Training Camp. We're going to cover my new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. If you'd like to learn more or get other free resources, just go to boycewatkins.com. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe on your way out of here. I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Peace.